Hi there, my name's Jenna and I wanted to share an update of my story. So back in 2022 I was pregnant and for 34 weeks pregnant, and we went for a normal midwife appointment, and there was no heartbeat. So yeah, basically our whole world changed. We were expecting our baby 4 weeks later, and everything was all ready for him coming. The bedroom with all its clothes sort of separated into all the different shelves, and we were all excited and happy for him coming in, and then just to be told in a normal regular appointment that there's no heartbeat. Our life just completely changed. So if you haven't been through anything like this before, it's like the hardest possible thing that anyone could ever go through. As a parent as well, it's just like the worst possible thing that you want to hear. And so my husband and I were like in total shock for quite a lot of months. At the time we got lots of support from the hospital, we got given a baby box, we were told about different charities that could help us out and everything. The midwives came to my house and were there for me, and I could speak to them basically like every single week for a wee while onwards. And I got a bereavement counsellor as well. So gradually over the next couple of months, my husband and I and our daughter like just spent a lot of time together, just the three of us as family, just kind of trying to appreciate like what we actually have. And it took a very long time to get myself in a good place, to feel better. But it got to the stage where I think it was about coming up for the year anniversary. I decided to wellness journey, incorporating healthy food, exercise, and mindset and mindfulness and self-care, and gradually started sharing my progress and my story online, because I wanted to help people who had suffered the loss of a baby as well. It's like I was basically a year into like my wellness journey. Like I was just like feeling so much better. I had like so much more energy. I'd lost like loads of weight, eating healthy, just kind of starting to feel like myself again. My husband and I were thinking about trying again and stuff. So I was in a strong place with my head and in my mindset, and my core and my body was feeling really strong, feeling like really good about myself. So we started trying again, and I fell pregnant really quickly. And at Christmas just of last year, we had a positive pregnancy test, and my husband and I were like just so excited and looking forward to like the next stage of our future with a new baby. This time round, like I wasn't worried. I was feeling fantastic. I was really feeling really strong in myself. Like the pregnancy, it wasn't making me feel really sick. I had so much energy. I was eating so much. Like I had a massive appetite and I was eating all the good stuff. I was still able to exercise, but obviously do modifications that are suitable for pregnancy, and just really focusing on me and looking after myself. So we thought everything was going quite well, and went in for an early scan at 9 weeks. And unfortunately, the midwife just came out and said, "Oh, I'm not seeing what I need to see here. I need to do an internal scan." We were like, "Sorry, what?" And then just no sympathy, no nothing. And then she was like, yeah, this is not going to be a progressive pregnancy. Something's happened at week 5, and yeah, you're no longer going to have a baby. And basically that was pretty much it. She had like no sympathy, no saying I'm so sorry, blah blah blah. She wanted to do an internal scan to double check and get like another midwife to come and like check as well. And then so they did all that. It was very, very invasive. Like they kept on getting other people in to check and do more internal scans and everything. And then they basically pat me off for 2 weeks because they wanted to just make sure. So we were basically left for 2 weeks, just not knowing like what was happening. Obviously, she told us right from the start that it wasn't going to be a progressive pregnancy, so we were just so confused, and we didn't really get support and advice that we needed. So basically, we went away for 2 weeks, and I was called back in for basically like the operation. They were wanting to check me out first to make sure that there was like no growth. And in my head, I knew that nothing was progressing anymore, because that's what she'd said to me straight up front. We had another midwife who was checking us out, and she wasn't 100% like willing to just say that it's not progressing. And they were basically talking back and forward as they were like doing an internal scan with me, and I went in there with the idea that I knew that baby wasn't alive and wasn't growing anymore, but yet this other midwife came in and said that she couldn't 100% confirm it. There was a fetal cell there, and like the other midwife could see like there was like a very small fetal cell, so she said like there was a baby there, so she didn't want to go ahead with the procedure. So we basically had to stay in and get more consultants coming in and like checking and just going through everything. They were going to like let me go for like another week and a bit as well, and I was just like, what's the point? Like, baby's not growing, baby's not alive, like there's no heartbeat, there's no growth. We should have been 12 weeks by this point, and basically there was not a growing baby in me, but yet they were going to pat me off again for another week. And it's like, what is, like, seriously, like, what is the point in this? Like, the other midwife at the beginning had told me like basically the baby had died, but not said it in those words. She just said it's not going to be a continuing pregnancy. So with everything that had happened to me before with Nathan, all the grief and everything had like came back, and the last time I was able to acknowledge it and accept like the loss of him, and this time I was basically packed off with no support and no help whatsoever, because they deal with so many miscarriages, early miscarriages, like every single day, and it's absolutely shocking that women don't get any help and support. Like, it doesn't matter what stage of pregnancy you're at, you still had a baby growing inside of you, and you were still pregnant, and you still got all the hormones and all the emotions of being pregnant, and the physicality of the baby growing inside of you as well. So the fact that there's no support at all for people who have early miscarriages and baby loss is just absolutely appalling. Like, I came from the completely other end, where I had a 34-week stillborn baby and had loads and loads of support and like help and acknowledgement, and like we had a funeral, like we saw the baby in the hospital, and we acknowledged that we had a baby and everything. And then this time the baby died at 5 weeks, but we had to have the procedure, the miscarriage procedure, at 12 weeks. I still had a baby growing inside of me, but yeah, I was just packed off. The way that the midwife spoke to me for the scan as well was just absolutely appalling. No sympathy, nothing. And just because that they deal with that like every single day, it doesn't mean that they shouldn't give sympathy for the parents, the mums and the dads and the rest of the family that are there who are going through it. So this happened in February this year. So basically, I've kind of like just shut myself off and just like thrown myself into my jewellery business. And I had Pit and Mean to work towards, so that basically kept me focused, and I made like lots of beautiful pieces for that, and was able to kind of get through some of the grief by creating my jewellery and making my jewellery and making things for clients. And I know that being creative is like really good for your mental health and stuff like that, but you still need like help and support. You still need to be able to speak about it. And this time round, I didn't feel that I was able to talk about it, because basically it wasn't really acknowledged. There was no help at all from the doctors afterwards. Months later, that I finally been able to process it in my head again, and being able to try and like put it into words. It's like taken me so long to kind of try and do this little video to just get out like how I'm feeling about it all, and to actually acknowledge that like we've lost another baby. There is charities out there to help and support people, SANS and things like that. And so SANS is like a organisation that helps support people with like pregnancy loss. 100 km walk in September with my husband, and we've got like a joint page together. And hopefully like we'll help raise funds to help support like other families who have like suffered the loss of a baby. They need to know that there is support out there, and it's okay to talk about it no matter what stage of pregnancy that you're at. I do want to like help and support others, and that's why I'm wanting to do this walk to raise money for SANS. So if you can like share my page, help to support me and my husband, and help donate to the page as well, that would be absolutely fantastic.